AI won't win in healthcare unless clinicians trust it. In this episode, I joined by Linda Macomber, a digital health pioneer who led projects from Kaiser, IBM, and the VA to uncover how startups can turn AI into a strategic edge without losing clinical buy-in. We'll show you how to blend technology with wisdom, plug into existing ecosystems, and find the one role every team needs to build trust and traction. Let's dive in. Healthcare entrepreneurs, are you ready to rewrite the rules for your business so you can have more time off, a great team, and more income while creating a positive social impact? Then you are in the right place. Welcome to The Provider's Edge. I'm your host, Sabrina Rumbach. I'm a provider, an international peak performance keynote speaker, and a best-selling author. Let's open the gateway to profitability for you today. My guests and I help healthcare entrepreneurs and startup founders like you break through barriers so you can control your business, control your life, and control your future. This is your defining moment to be a disruptor in healthcare. Today we have the wonderful Linda Travis Macomber. She is a professor of practice, healthcare leader, founder of Healthcare Technology Consulting, and she has been a nurse and earned her degree in MBA, over 35 years of experience in digital health, informatics, and AI innovation. Worked with many different sectors, including in San Diego. She had led historical projects for organizations such as Kaiser Permanente, IBM, and Department of Defense, as well as the VA, and so many more. NIH, University of California, and many, many different startups. And she is someone who we just were talking about how information nowadays are plenty. But how do we connect to the right information, the right people, the right resources is definitely a crucial thing in how we build and create the new drive and the change in this space. And she's also a life fellow of HIMSS, National Recognized Health Informatic Nursing and Higher Education. She's a professor. Macomber provides actionable insights and strategic guidance for her clients and in the academic sector. So excited for you to be here with us.
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much, Sabrina. I think that I aim to be timely as well as timeless in terms of sharing the multiple decades of experiences to have that be insightful today, and hopefully will be for your audience. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. We're all about being the leader in the healthcare space to lead the change, to lead the next round of betterment. As you have been in the field for so many years, what do you think in the past couple years, what have been something that we've been able to focus on right now that should be a critical turning point?
Well, certainly, all of the buzz with AI, but I think that we can go far beyond artificial in terms of intelligence to truly advance intelligence, taking the best of the digital system capabilities as well as human wisdom and the synergistic effects of putting those together. And I think it's important to realize that not to be fearful of many of the new opportunities, but to look back, to be able to look forward. And so I feel like that's what I help to bring to the table with having decades of experience and having what I think I'm so fortunate to have had a 40-year head start on some of the AI. And so I look at it not as a revolution, which you hear a lot, but a renaissance, and to particularly timely from after the COVID pandemic. And you look at over history, you had the plague, and then you had the Renaissance. So I think that if we do this right, it's not just Silicon Valley going fast and breaking things, and healthcare, first do no harm, but the right blending to bring the history to life in creative new ways.
For sure, is that what you're saying, looking back and to help it to look forward. There's a lot of studies actually in that sense of how do you play into the gratitude, even study, right? Like we're appreciating the past and how hard we worked to get to where we are right now. And some of those factors actually is helping us to think about the future. It's no longer just, oh, something didn't happen or something bad happened. Oh, only because I did it this right way that I'm going to move forward. I think there is that shift of mindset. And sometimes people have to walk out of that mindset of, oh, I'm not sure, right? If I didn't have a predictable model, then I cannot invest in this project. I cannot invest in this innovation. Or if I didn't trial that out, it's very difficult for people to say, well, I had a bad experience, therefore how do I know this is going to be a good one, right? So we can't always use our past to predict the future. We have to simply learn from the past, that amazing experience that we had, and trust our ability with the people like Linda, myself, and so many who like to be advisors, mentors, to help people to create the true impact they're seeing, right? And it's that seeing how technology now can speed up some of the things, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like, oh, things got taken away, right? You still need, at the end of the day, human behind every project. It just now we can better use the tools and then change the tools, giving the right information so you can diagnose and then make things easier, faster, better for us, right? So really the shift in things is that quality of output into perhaps it's speed, perhaps it is some kind of benefit instead of just the process. I think people got too stuck on.
Well, unpacking many perspectives that you're sharing there, in terms of looking back to look forward on that theme, that consider that certainly, over the history of health IT, and just the history of humanity, there have been massive shifts that have occurred, and I think that clearly everything that we are able to do today with the new generative AI systems is based on all of the digital information that we have fed into them over many decades. So it's important to look particularly on the healthcare side, not just, hey, we had AI back. I worked in systems with the Department of Defense and Kaiser, with many of the expert systems and rules-based systems. But the generative AI systems still have all of the information that's fed from our electronic health systems in them. And so understanding the depth of all of those systems, and working with the people who have worked with those systems, and understand that there are some nuances and challenges. And so as we really progress, I love AI from a perspective of ambient intelligence. That's terrific for getting the information into the systems. But we can do so much more as we emphasize the actionable insights that these systems can enable us to advance intelligence to that new level. So looking at the different perspectives of, once we advance intelligence, we can address a lot of the challenges that have plagued healthcare for decades and centuries, and address them in entirely new ways. But I think it's also important to realize people have addressed challenges in entirely new ways in the past as well. As we launched the internet into practice, as we launched many digital patient care systems and processes into the fold. So I enjoy advising many of the exciting startups and others that are taking advantage of these new capabilities with AI, and but also realize that is a whole you know, culture and life flow. I think beyond even the workflow, the understanding how healthcare works across the ecosystem. That is where many that are new sometimes don't know what they don't know, and so it's wonderful to share with I'm a national university, so I work with many graduate students across the country. Many are working in the field in their 30s, going back for their graduate degree, and so sharing the rich collective wisdom of all of us, and and working towards advancing, not just transforming, but understanding the transitions of people, process, technology together, and the complexities are incredible, and with so many stakeholders for human health. But to truly have that kind of golden, the light ahead to advance where we are today. It's not that it's wrong what we've done in the past. It's just simply that we have these incredible new capabilities that we can have fun to tap, and realize that just because the problems we've had in the past, um, doesn't mean that we can't truly affect a whole new redesign of the system. So oftentimes, I think there's a limitation of startups and others. You just focus on one problem, and that's fine. But I think understanding the context of where that niche solution may fit into the greater perspectives is where the rich collective wisdom of kind of those of us more in the baby boomer generation, I think, can tap and provide insights to help those. It's really, I think, we go beyond just solving one problem to truly working on many priorities together.
Yeah, what are some of the exciting projects that you are seeing right now, from whether it's the students that you work with or other project that you've been involved in?
Oh my goodness. I think really going beyond, you know, all of us going to healthcare, to, and building new, billion dollar healthcare hospitals, et cetera. But the ability to better distribute care so that care comes to us, and the digital systems that empower that to occur. So, at my university, we have the access as well as excellence to differentiate, and there are many parallels with education and healthcare. So, the opportunity to expand access in an affordable way, and to ensure that we're kind of letting go of past processes, and enabling new capabilities that are far more personalized. So I think we've identified healthcare to be a protocol equals quality. But sometimes people don't quite fit in the box of the protocol, because you have multiple conditions and multiple perspectives that really differentiate you as an individual. So as we understand the human genome, we progress from ologies to omics, and we have so many more. I have to think of it as not just remote monitoring, which is kind of a phrase that's used quite a bit, but truly empowering each of us to understand and be CEOs of our own health, by catching the earliest possible kind of warning system and light, before it becomes, a problem. And so it's not just about patient problem lists, but it's truly looking at our own health priorities and being dramatically more proactive, which enables us to be far more cost effective. So the digital systems enable all of these. The AI intelligence enables us to find the signal through the noise. That the AI can see what we can't see. So it's, I think, beyond where we are today. Many today are simply looking at how do we do the same things more cost effectively, and that's great as a start. But it's much more interesting to me to reimagine what can we do that we haven't been able to do because we now have these systems. And so that's where partnering with thought leaders and just everyone on board to say, wait a minute, the core challenges, that's great. We can operationalize this process that's very expensive, but whoa, wait a minute, let's also bring care to people. And so to summarize, it's bringing health, not just healthcare, and to emphasize what each of us can do to contribute, and understanding that it's not just a protocol, it's personal, and AI can help us with all of that, but so can many of the existing digital systems that have evolved over the decades. And so the challenge is to connect a lot of connections. And as we said before, I think that's where I think a lot of the fun happens. It's in those innovative connections that we hadn't thought about to go next.
That is the difficulty in itself, is how do you figure out what are the right connecting point. As many of end users would say, okay, we have this new tool, whatnot. Is that actually just make it easier for us to search for the information we needed, or is it already adding into a care pathway? So then we have continuation of care. Where is the gap that we are trying to fill versus it's almost like a band-aid, right? We have some tools, the things are out there, people using AI left and right. We have a system that wanted to summarize all the discharge planning, so the next person reading it is not going through all of the scanning documents or EHR and be confused, right? And then even for me, I even build out for every single conversation we have, then we summarize on what are their true goals and challenges? How can we support in this journey? And so it's not that we continue to have meeting after meeting, right? Especially in large enterprise hospital system, we've been there, right? We've been to multiple systems. Is that we have to kind of work up the chain, and but then every week you talk about it, and then it felt like you talk about the same thing, and until someone is able to connect the dots, right? As you were saying, it's putting the right puzzle pieces together of the people, human capital, of the resources, of the tools, right? It is never a simple thing. Is needed that multidimensional collaboration. It's never going to be one person can do it all. It always perhaps start with one or two people who has that vision. But then we needed to find the champions, the promoter to really talk up the mission, because now we need to get a lot more people behind it, right? And then you really needed to get what I always say the third person of this major triad is the implementer. We can't always dream the dream. We can't always talk up together, top the engagement of people's interest. We have to deliver, right? And sometimes that's the toughest thing, is getting the right people actually do the planning and the implementation to see the result. Uh, so in some ways, that's the bigger play here, right? Like we see many innovations coming out of play. We're excited for them. They can always say there's more difficulty in fundraising in the early stage versus even like us, we were working more on the growth stage companies to see what could be, right? Because we kind of have to find out our sweet spot. Do we care for the systems, the solutions that can have a really great potential promise? And then they're on that track, and then we can help to shape them and get there faster. Or
do you have the passion for the very early stage, early breakthroughs, and then discover what could be, right? And I think that all of us just needed to figure out what is that feels great for us, that we love to tap more into, then put our resources, our expertise toward these subset of companies, founders, right? These amazing scientists, clinicians, and get something together. As we wrap up, what would be, Professor Cohen, what would be the last thing that you want other leaders to hear, right? As we're playing into this marriage between technology and the fun and possibility of moving forward.
Well, I guess oftentimes you hear startups talk about their moonshot, and when I think back sometimes on the exciting aspects of my own personal career, I hope others have similar experiences. I mean, my moonshot was actually in the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., at a reception, looking up at the command module for Apollo 11. And right at that point, I think preparation meets opportunity, that is so true with companies as well as each of us as individuals. So in this era of exponential technology and AI, I think it becomes even more important to emphasize or add a member of your team who is that connector, because what I've seen over time is oftentimes you've got incredibly great ideas and products and technology experts, and you've got the frontline care team, but there is a gap, and oftentimes people who are prepared with both the expertise on the clinical side as well as the technology side can bridge that gap for you. And I think that oftentimes you don't know what you don't know as a new startup creator. And where is their incredible threat is that the platforms will provide capabilities that your startup provides. So you need to that old skate to where the puck is going to be, have that broader strategic perspective of here. It's not just EHRs anymore, they're digital health platforms, and they're not going away. You need to be able to understand what they provide, and the life flow of healthcare is just simpler to work within those platforms than to have to do anything that's necessarily outside. Also, the AI platforms and the foundation models are expanding so rapidly. So looking at the capabilities of the new reasoning models and the new agents, and not being fearful of them, because you either tap into some advisors or you build the expertise within your own company to understand, wait a minute, Marvin Minsky did agents and AI and published on that in the Society of Mind. I worked with him personally in the 1980s. So if you realize that we just simply didn't have the technological capabilities, but many of the ideas have been around for decades, and there have been many people that have tapped similar ideas and launch those products into practice. So, I mean, in summary, looking at all of the rich collective wisdom that's in the medical libraries of the world, all of the medical journals, all of the insights that are there. Um, I had the privilege to meet with John Lindbergh, the then director of the National Library of Medicine, and he said to put all of the individual patient information that was traditionally kept on paper and lots of paper processes, and to digitize all of that, so you really optimize care delivery and provide that continuity of care through additional connectivity, so that then you can optimize our care clinical decisions, and we can make much more informed decisions and better decisions regarding our health, empower physicians, empower nurses maybe they're on screen, perhaps even more than they are today, but using the insights from dashboards and all of the AI-enabled systems, redesign care delivery so that we have our baby boomer nurses perhaps looking at those AI dashboards and connecting with those junior nurses on the front lines of care. So we can not just have telehealth from a provider to a patient, but instead also optimize our care delivery systems by connecting experts to each other across time zones. I mean, I worked as an ICU nurse in the middle of the night. I mean, what I would have given to have just been able to connect with someone who was wide awake and had, decades of experience in pediatric ICU. And I think that
Yeah.
we can optimize care and optimize all of our decisions, leverage all of our prime, precious healthcare provider resources so that they're well. Because I think for each doctor and nurse and health professional that we can assist with really smart systems, better systems than we have today, then we can help all of us. And that's pretty exciting.
Are you an established owner or executive who has a thriving and successful healthcare practice? We want to hear your story live on the show. Become one of our guest speakers so you can inspire other practitioners like us, arrive as an authority in your field, and connect with thousands of like-minded healthcare leaders who need to hear what you have to say. Apply to be a featured guest speaker on an episode on The Provider's Edge by visiting sabrinarumback.com/interviews.